Live from JMT Studios, it's time for Two Jersey Kids, the best video game podcast on the
planet. Hello, all you Jersey kids out there. This is episode 73 of the Two Jersey Kids podcast. But is it really two Jersey kids when they're just one Jersey kid? That's right, it's just me, Adam, right here talking in my room by myself. No one here listening. Not even Marta's in the apartment, so I'm all by myself. So you get to experience all the crazy thoughts that run through my brain. Unfortunately, Gary is down with sickness. You know, that song. Just kidding. He's actually sick. His voice has been going in and out. Apparently, he wasn't streaming recently. So I decided to take the reins because this weekend, you have the Super Bowl on Sunday. My Philadelphia Eagles are playing, and hopefully they kick the Patriots' ass. If you're Patriots fans out there, well, you've had enough wins, so give one to us. And also Saturday is Marta's birthday, and we're going to do a lot of things throughout the day, so I'll be busy then, so I can't record with Gary then. So this is the only logical time, and unfortunately, he got caught being sick. So now it's just me and you, all you Jersey kids out there. Before I go into the gaming news and everything that's going on, I just want to say, please go follow the podcast at Two Jersey Kids, and please go rate us on iTunes. I was going to mention to Gary that we got our first 1-star rating on iTunes, which is kind of sad, but, I mean, you sort of expect it. Maybe we said something that annoyed somebody, so it gave us a 1-star, but we finally made it. That's what I say to Gary all the time. Whenever you finally get a negative comment, that means you made it. Because, I don't know, maybe we said something that triggered them. Who knows? But, yeah, please go rate us on iTunes. Give us actually a 5 stars. And if you're going to give us a lower rating, sorry, it hit the mic. It happens. It's going to happen more often because I'm talking more often during this episode. But if you give us a rating on iTunes, please remember to, state why you're giving us a lower rating, help us improve more. We haven't gotten many ratings lately, and it's kind of sad. I wonder if this podcast has fallen deaf ears now. People are getting tired of listening to us, maybe because we're saying something different, or maybe we're not saying it enough. I don't know. We haven't got enough feedback to understand what we need to change, to improve on, which if you're listening to this right now and we can improve on something, please shoot us a direct message or tell us on Twitter or, leave a rating. It'll help out a lot. You can listen to this podcast on Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, whatever app you use, because we're on a lot of things except Spotify, I believe. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say before we roll into it. I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at AdamJBuckingham. You can follow Gary at RealScavenger18 and his Twitch channel, Scavenger18. And there's a 3 in there somewhere. I think it's after the V. But I'm going to roll right into the news because I don't want to talk about myself too much until the end. I'm going to stroll right into it. We're switching things up right now with me running the show, even though I run it every week. So it's not really much different. So maybe I'm just trying to do something different, switching it up. Starting off with the news, a big announcement, not really announcement, kind of a letdown. Apparently, Red Dead Redemption has now been delayed until October 26th in 2018. In a statement issued this afternoon, Rockstar apologized to fans waiting for the game and blamed the wait on a need for extra development time. Dear all, we are excited to announce that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be released on October 26, 2018. We apologize to everyone disappointed by this delay. While we had hoped to have the game out sooner, we require a little extra time for polish. We sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that when you get to play the game, you will agree the wait will have been worth it. In the meantime, please check out these screenshots from the game. We look forward to sharing a lot more information with you in the coming weeks. And this is Adam speaking here. The screenshots, the game obviously looks amazing. Rockstar doesn't make a ugly looking game. So again, I'm still excited for this game. And you can hear as they release this statement telling that they're going to be released in October, you can hear the collective groans of all the publishers releasing games, big games in October, just say shit. Because, I mean, Red Dead Redemption, a lot of Rockstar games in general, like GTA or now Red Dead Redemption, I think is on that level, is basically a black hole. Everyone is focusing on that game in that time frame, and so watch out, all you games in the October time frame. Maybe if you get in early enough, maybe a month before, maybe you'll be fine. I think you will be. But good luck to all you publishers out there. Don't feel the wrath of Rockstar. But it leads me to sort of a point where, because I was going to this threw me off. I wasn't planning on doing a solo episode, so I normally bounce it off to Gary, and then I can collect my thoughts a little bit more. But now I'm just rolling and shooting from the hip. Bang, bang! Like Red Dead Redemption. Look at that. I'm tying it all in. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I don't want to ramble too much, because you guys may get tired of me rambling. But it's kind of frustrating when they delayed it once, and now they're deleting it again. And it leads me to want just developers and publishers to tell you when they're going to release the game and actually follow through, when you're absolutely guaranteeing that you're going to release it then. That's the thing that I want from developers now, especially Rockstar. They're on such a level, they don't need a whole year of hype to get excited for this game. They just need a few months, maybe 2 months in advance. When you, I think at 2 months, a month before you're going gold and you're getting it ready, prepped to send out to the stores and release. I think 2 months in advance, you should be pretty confident that you're going to be able to release it. And that's like these games, I think that's all they need is 2 months, 3 months to know when they're going to release. They only need that time to promote it because it's such a huge game. Everybody knows Rockstar. Everybody knows and are excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, the internet went insane when they first announced it. So I don't understand why they need to try to force it ahead of time. And I'm fine with delays. I'm completely fine, especially, if you rush a game, it's going to be bad. If you delay it, I think there's a quote by Miyamoto, but if you delay it, it doesn't have to be bad. You can only improve it from there. From that point on, delaying it, you can improve it, you can polish it. But again, I just get frustrated when it's basically like the carrot and the stick. You never get quite there because they keep pulling it away and you're seeing it more and more, and I don't know what the cause is. Is it, improper timing? They're not, they're expecting the crunch to be more efficient. They're, not making a Gantt chart properly, so they're not, measuring out where projects needs to be at a certain point, and maybe they're falling a lot behind schedule. But this leads me to the point is just don't announce it until you actually know, because if you announce it 3 months in advance, like I said before, Rockstar is so huge, it'll probably sell the same amount. I mean, you saw that with Fallout 4. I thought it was perfect. They knew they were going to release it, and they released it. And they just did build up 3 months in advance, and people were excited for it, and that's all you ever need. You don't need anything too crazy. You don't need a long build-up to get excited for a game. I'm saying right now, like, for example, Half-Life 3 has a mind of its own, basically. It has just a following of its own. It's such a huge game. Mind you, it's not released yet. I don't even know if it's in development. But if Steam just happened to throw it, or Valve happened to throw it on the Steam store, I'm sure people will go insane. It would sell amazingly well. Because word of mouth is the main thing that drives, I think, this industry and industries in general, and becoming more popular. If you're having people left and right talking about this game, getting excited about this game, and telling people that, oh man, this game is amazing, it's more likely to drive another consumer to your product than, the random commercial spot that's probably going to be at the Super Bowl, or, another commercial spot out there that may get eyes on it, but if the game's not coming out for another 6 months, who's going to care? Like, you may lose that audience member. That's why I think saying it ahead of time, like, oh, we're announcing 2 months in advance this game is coming out, and you get excited. I think people can stay tuned for 2 months and then actually get it. If they're excited, they're going to go out and purchase it. They're not going to lose track of it, those damn casual gamers. But I am excited for it. I'm sure they're just doing a lot of polishing of the game. I'm not sure. It seems like Rockstar has been, you saw that with GTA 5. They delayed it, I think, two times, if I remember correctly. It's just unfortunate because I know a lot of people are excited and ecstatic for this game, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, in this industry. But moving on, Kazuhira, I suck with these names, I'm sorry. Gary's not here to make fun of me, so at least I have no one laughing in my ear. He's apparently stepped down as Sony's boss in a full statement by by Kaz. Quote, ever since my appointment as president and CEO in April 2012, I have stated that my mission is to ensure Sony continues to be a company that provides customers with Kando to move them emotionally and inspires and fulfills their curiosity. To this end, I've dedicated myself to transforming the company and enhancing its profitability. And I'm very proud that now, in the third and final year of our current mid-range corporate plan, we are expecting to exceed our financial targets. And it excites me to hear more and more people enthused that Sony is back again as the company approaches a crucial juncture when we will embark on a new mid-range plan. I consider this to be the ideal time to pass the baton of leadership to new management for the future of Sony, and also for myself to embark on a new chapter in my life. My successor, Kenichiro Yosada, has supported me closely since returning to Sony in December 2013, contributing extensively beyond his remit as CFO and acting as valuable confidant and business partner. As we took on the challenge of transforming Sony together, Mr. Yoshida, there it is, combines a deeply strategic mindset with a relentless determination to achieve defined targets and the ability to take a global viewpoint. I believe he possesses the breadth of experience and perspective, as well as the unwavering leadership qualities required to manage Sony's diverse array of businesses, and as such is the ideal person to drive the company forward into the future. As chairman, I will of course offer my full support to Mr. Yoshida and the new management team, and do all I can to facilitate a smooth transition and ensure their future success. End quote. This news comes just a few months after PlayStation boss Andrew House exits from Sony, with PS4 in good health, with most recently passing 76.5 million consoles shipped, which is insane, and the inevitable PS5 surely in development. Both leave the famous Japanese consumer electronics giant at the top. So, I think, when was when PS4 released? I want to say it was sophomore, maybe not. When was it? It was 2015, I graduated, so it was 2 years back. So I think 2013? Let me look it up. I know this is I'm not good with remembering certain types of dates. So, yeah. Of course, I really sometimes I wish it was easier where it would just pop up right away. 2014, that's when it was released, and that's PS4. Oh man, I'm struggling right now with gathering my thoughts as I'm looking and searching, and normally I got Gary to, be my crutch, and I've done solo episodes before, but right now my mind is sort of drained. I'll get more into that because of work and all that jazz. I don't want to complain about work because I do it too often on this podcast, but yeah, he was in Kaz was in this time period for Sony where it was booming industry going crazy, especially after, the sort of downfall of Sony. I don't want to say downfall, but their awful release of PS3, and their issues with PSN. I mean, there's people remember him from bowing from shame and apologizing for the PSN hack that happened a while ago, back when PSN was down for months, and people's accounts were being hacked, and a lot of personal information may have gotten lost. Who knows? Another example back in 2006 where people still make fun of him or tease, where he talks about Ridge Racer and he goes insane about it. But yeah, so I mean, he was part of that, bringing PS3 back up to, at the end of the PS3's life cycle. It was actually competing with the 360. 360 was off to a hot start. PS3 faltered a lot, especially started off with a $600 range, and the Sony stating that, you need to get a second job to purchase this console, being all high and mighty, got punched in the mouth by Xbox, and, went back to the drawing board and ended up catching them at the end, and they continued it through the PS4, and it kind of makes sense to, get out on top. Maybe now that PS5 is in development, they want to pass it on, let the new leadership, put it into a direction that they want to go. So I'm excited to see what new leadership will do. Hopefully they'll, I know their first step is going to get name changes done in PSN. That's the guarantee of me. I said that twice now in this episode. I apologize. But I don't know if name changes are going to come anytime soon. But it's just a running sort of gag with the PSN. And somebody's calling me. I keep getting these spam calls from my not hometown, but in Jersey, where it's more likely. I was talking with Marta about this, and she was reading an article, and it makes sense is that you're more likely to pick up a phone when you see that's a area code from your old from where you grew up, because a lot of people have, I guess, phone numbers from where they grew up. I mean, I got mine from Jersey when I was in high school, and I still have it to this day, and you're still getting, calls about like your electric company or some random warranty company, and I just keep getting them all the time, and it's kind of frustrating. It's really annoying, and I really wish it would stop. But where was I? Yeah, stepping down at the height of PS4. I mean, it recently shipped 76.5 million units, which is insane. A lot of people, wasn't expecting too much from, I guess, Sony, especially with their original release of the PS3. They sort of thought, oh no, what are they going to do now? But they sort of went back to the drawing board, released a console that, suits the developers and, offers them what they want, and they can develop games for it. PS4 Pro, I don't know if that was the smartest move. I don't know how well that's selling off the top of my head. I think they lumped the numbers together, if I'm correct. Sooner or later, I think the PS4 Pro is going to end up becoming the PS4. My beautiful PS4 is going to come obsolete. But yeah, I'm excited to see what new leadership has in store with the PlayStation 5, because I'm sure it's in development. I always want, here's a tangent of my own when it comes to the next console, what I want a modular console where it's kind of in the vein of a PC, but more simplified, I guess you could say, where you buy certain parts of the console, and it allows to juice up, beef up, and then it allows, I guess, Sony to, sell smaller products and, can, like, I don't know how they go about this. I'm not like a not software engineer, not a hardware engineer, so I don't know exactly the intricacies of, building a product. And we actually saw what would happen if Sony specifically developed a component for their hardware. I mean, you saw with Vita, where you can only use specific Vita memory cards, and then the price was through the roof, so maybe scratch that plan. Hopefully they would make it modular, in my dream, make it modular and have other third-party companies be able to build components for that specific console, kind of like what you see with PC, just on a simpler level where you don't have to go through the building process, even though I hear that it's not too hard, especially if you just go online and find instructions. But there's so many components out there. Maybe if they simplify it, make it more easily understandable, maybe that's a next step in the console generation. I'm not sure if the console generation is going to ever get to the point where it's like iPhone, where it's, a new one every year. Maybe it becomes modular. There'll be a new, component to that console that you don't need to buy to play the game. There may be a bottom line to play the game, play games, but that's my dream. So we'll see with the new leadership. And it's time to get into some Nintendo news that have been dropping this week. Speech is hard. Apparently, Nintendo's paid service, in a tweet, revealed that the service Nintendo Switch Online will debut in September, though no specific date or other service details were provided. Originally expected to launch in 2017, Nintendo delayed the online paid service into this year, last June. At the time, Nintendo detailed pricing of $19.99 for a yearly subscription, and that users would have access to the classic game selections of Nintendo games like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Balloon Fight. The official website for the service still lists all these services in addition to a new launch date. The classic game selection and exclusive eShop deals will be available only to subscribers of the pay service. In addition to yearly service amount, the paid online service will cost $3.99 USD, dollars, for a 1 month membership, and $7.99 for 3 months. If you don't know, I think they mentioned in the service that you'll be able to get a classic game every month, and it'll go away at the end of the month, which maybe it'll force people to actually play those free games, because I get free games that I get for PS Plus and Games with Gold, but I haven't got around to playing all of them. Even though some of them I really want to. It just, sometimes life comes at you fast. But I'm excited to see what Nintendo does with this paid service. Hopefully, if it's actually a paid service, they can, provide better systems for the online service in general. I actually haven't tried out Nintendo Switch. One of my gripes with the online situation is the friend codes. I don't understand. One, it's kind of difficult to get to. And two, I don't understand why they have to have this friend code system. Why can't you build your own username? But, I mean, that's one little gripe, and I don't plan on using the online feature too much of Nintendo Switch, because right now I don't have games that would facilitate the online nature of the Switch. Maybe if Stardew Valley becomes online co-op type deal, maybe then. But right now I have Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey, which I don't think is online, and then you have Blossom's Tale and Stardew Valley. So yeah, we'll see. Moving on, Nintendo announces a Mario Kart Tour for smartphones. Nintendo is bringing another of its biggest franchise to smartphones and tablets. This time it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart Tour will launch sometime before the end of the next financial year, so before the end of March 2019. There's no word yet on whether it'll be paid for or free to play. And it seems like, I would guess, if from what I've seen from Nintendo mobile games, it'll kind of be sort of free to get type deal where you can then unlock more if you actually pay for the full game. You saw that with Super Mario Run, I believe. And I feel like this Mario Kart game may be in the vein of what you see when you would play Mario Kart, 7 with the Wiimotes, where you can actually use the controller to turn. I can definitely see that with utilizing the gyros that are in these smartphones now, where you sort of just you tap on. I'm guessing they're going to probably simplify it, so you probably have to play it in landscape. Right will be go, left will be drift, or, I'm going to guess it's going to be a drift button, and then you turn, utilizing the landscape gyro type deal that you see all the time with the Wiimotes when people play with the steering wheels, which I never quite understood why you play with a steering wheel for Mario Kart. It just doesn't seem as fun as just a normal controller, but, who am I to judge? If you find enjoyment out of it, keep doing it. Pip, pip, cheerio. But I'm excited to see more about this. I'm sure it'll sell a buku amount when it comes to the smartphone. I mean, that seems like the right area that Nintendo should start hitting more and more, which you see more and more games coming out for the mobile phone, the mobile service, and everybody knows Nintendo. And in accordance with everybody knows Nintendo, I'm wondering if this next Mario movie that has been apparently confirmed is going to do well. Who knows? But apparently it's been confirmed that Nintendo is working on a Mario movie with Illumination Entertainment, the animation, you may know them, behind the Minions movie and Despicable Me. Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto is listed as co-producer on the film alongside Illumination boss and Minions creator Chris Melandri. There's no word yet on a release date. Nintendo has also not yet confirmed who will portray Mario, although it's hard to imagine anyone other than a longtime Mario voice actor Charles Martinet voicing the Mustachio mascot. Here's my question is, are they going to try to go the route of Minions, where Minions, like the Minion movies, they have another human aspect to it where they're talking, and Minions are speaking just a gibberish language where they're saying sort of basically gibberish, where you can slightly understand them, but not quite. What are they going to go with the Mario route? Since he's human, he should theoretically be able to talk, but you don't hear Mario talking too much in any of the Nintendo games. I mean, that's not really Nintendo's MO with their games that they create. There's not too much voice acting in a lot of them, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out. What the story is going to be the generic him trying to save Peach. I don't know how well that's going to, portray in the movie theater. Will this become the first great video game movie? I'm not sure. We'll see. I know I enjoyed Despicable Me. The Despicable Me franchise is, I think, done pretty well. Minion movie I thought was up in the air, but I mean, they have to capitalize on the Minions. All the little kids love it. Even, I love the Minions. They're adorable. They're very simplistic. They're very simple and easy to understand what they are, and they're adorable. So we'll see how that is played out. I don't know if I'm going to go see it, but I mean, everybody knows Mario. Maybe you see this on the screen. Maybe people want to go, but I'm a little nervous that it could end up being if you don't remember, there was a Ratchet and Clank movie that came out a while ago in correspondence with the release of the redone version of the first game, and it did not do quite well from what I can understand. Now, because it just sort of popped in my head, I kind of want to look at the Rotten Tomatoes score of this movie, and I'm nervous to look because I'm nervous it's going to be crappy. Were there any critics that actually watched it is the question. Oh, mama! Oh, my God. That's not good. So, yeah, 71 critics reviewed it, and it has a tomato score of 17. And 42% of audience liked it, which is not good at all either. So, yeah, that did not play well. Even though the remake of the game, master or reproduction of the game actually did really well. The movie that corresponded to it, not so much. So hopefully they do better than Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank movie. And the final little tidbit is the SNES Mini. Apparently sales passed the 4 million units, which is amazing. Even though I haven't actually gone out and looked for it anymore. I know the running shtick was I would get pissed off because I couldn't find it online. But I stopped looking for it because at a certain point I'm just like, I'm not going to waste my time trying to find this thing. And will I ever play it a lot? I don't know. Right now I'm still having trouble finding time to play things on the PS4. Like, I wanted to get the new Dragon Ball Fighter Z game because it looks like it's really well made. It looks like it's a lot of fun, and I kind of want to get it just to do crazy combos. Additionally, UFC 3 I want to purchase and check out, but right now, with the way my schedule has been, I don't know if I have time. So I've said this plenty of times before, so you don't need to hear me talk about it. Moving on to other not Nintendo news, apparently Battlefront 2 will bring back microtransaction in the next few months. When EA and DICE announced that they were freezing the sale of loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2 a day before its full release, there was always a caveat. One day the loot boxes would be back, and in a chat with Wall Street Journal, EA's chief finance officer has confirmed that day is not far away. According to Wall Street Journal's Cyril Needleman, EA's Blake Jorgensen has confirmed that Battlefront 2 will reintroduce microtransactions, quote, in the next few months, end quote, in a snippet posted online. Jorgensen said DICE and EA would enable microtransactions, quote, when we think it's ready, end quote, but didn't specify if any changes had or would be made from what was seen before. I'm just going to say this right now. If you come back with the same exact microtransactions, I'm sure there's going to be hell to pay. I think you already lost a lot of fan bases that were excited, or a lot of fans that were excited for the opportunity of what you would do with now the second one in this series because they saw the potential of the first one. But you sort of ruined it with bad, mojo and sort of charging a lot more for in-game items and progression items that you would normally get throughout the game, just sticking them behind a paywall, allowing people just to purchase them in general. I haven't played this game, and I just get it from secondhand from Gary and what I read online. So I think there'll be hell to pay if they come back and with the same exact sort of microtransactions. If it's just cosmetic, fine. That's fine by me. I don't think people will be upset, but remember, you are EA, and if you F up, you are going to get hit very hard by the fan base, and I would shout out to the fan base that, are, all the gamers out there that may be listening to this right now. If you're interested in another EA game, remember, if this sort of annoyed you and this pissed you off about EA, you have to speak with your wallet, which I think is why they froze them to begin with, because they saw that, Battlefront 2 didn't sell nearly as well as they expected, and I don't know if they didn't realize that it had to do with the microtransactions, but I feel like it did. You pissed off people, and they're not going to purchase your game. That's what happens when you speak with your wallet. They realize that, oh crap, we messed it up. Maybe it'll take one or two more times to get it through a dense, large company that maybe they shouldn't try to, I don't want to say steal, because at the end of the day, you have to make the purchase yourself, but make kind of game-altering and game-breaking purchases for the game that's an online-based game, that makes zero sense. So, speak with your wallet, folks. And the final bit, sort of a small little tidbit, PS Plus, for February, the free games are going to be Knack and Rhyme, and Xbox Games with Gold for Xbox One. For all you Xbox users, you'll get Shadow Warrior, and Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, which I've been hearing that those Assassin's Creed Chronicles, which are side-scrolling Assassin's Creed games, sort of miniaturized versions, haven't been that great. Maybe for free they'll be better. I mean, anything for free is better than paying for it and be mediocre. I think a free mediocre game is better than a paid mediocre game, but a paid good game is probably better than a free mediocre game. That's just, I think, the hierarchy. Should I go through the hierarchy? A paid great game, actually, it's probably free great game is probably better than a paid great game. So, I don't know if I really want to go through it. I don't know if anybody really wants to hear me go through the hierarchy of free versus paid and all that jazz. That's it for the news this week. I didn't think there was too much going on. I did see that there was some sexual harassment or sexual harassment or assault allegations. Someone at Valve, the creator of Counter-Strike. I didn't put that in here. I'm waiting for more information before, discussing that, or maybe I just didn't feel like discussing that because you're seeing it more and more nowadays, and I don't know. I don't know what my take would be on that until I get the full story. But it's whoever, harassment of any kind. You suck. Especially sexual harassment, any inappropriate conduct, touching is wrong. All you people out there, it's wrong. That's all you need to know. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you see it and you don't report it, you're kind of just as bad. Let's be honest. If you're a bystander in this, don't get bystander syndrome where it's not happening to you, so what do I care? Report it. Mention it. Mention it to people higher up. You have a right and an obligation to report something like that. But I sent out a tweet earlier because I was alone and afraid while recording this solo episode, that maybe if people responded to this tweet, I would read their tweet as I record, which I've gotten two. First one being from @AngelsFreak7. Shout out @AngelFreak7. I don't know who you are, but thank you for responding to my tweet. He said, I mentioned that I was going to be solo, and he said, nice, you're going to do great, have fun and kill it. I think I am killing it, thank you very much, even though I've stumbled a few times. My brain is not working completely at top notch. Maybe I should get into that, because this week, there was a lunar eclipse that went on, and if some people have followed me on Twitter, or followed the podcast, or me in general, you know that I work for a spacecraft that does orbit the moon, the only one, so yeah, there's that. So during a lunar eclipse, because the moon will be, behind the sun, it gets not behind the sun, behind the earth, the earth will be direct, blocking the moon from any sunlight for a certain period of time. Fun fact, the reason it's red is because now you're getting the refractions of the sun onto the moon when you see it during a lunar eclipse. It's kind of why the sunrise looks kind of red. I think that's right. Man, going off the top of my head. Whew, I'm getting a little dry of mouth. Maybe I drink a little bit of water. Hold on. All right. So, yeah, because the spacecraft is, getting blocked. The sun's getting blocked by the Earth. The spacecraft sort of needs power, and it's powered by solar panels, and, you have to then turn off a lot of things to allow it so it stays alive during this whole set of hours where it's completely being blocked completely by the Earth and not getting any power, and it also gets really cold, so you also have to prep way ahead of time, get heaters going on the spacecraft, allowing it to, heat up, and so you don't get into, certain limits where certain instruments can't survive anymore. So that was a fun time planning it out, and then I had to do the night shift, which was 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., which was rough. And then the second shift the next day, so I started at 3 p.m., so I only got like 5 hours of sleep, and then 6 hours after that because I got home late, and then I had to start back up at 9 o'clock because I had to get back to the normal schedule. So my brain is kind of fried this week with how things have been going. But it's all in the name of science, and space is important, in my opinion. It's just sometimes the schedule doesn't work out for some people that have to man the systems in general. So there's that. I'm not going to complain about my job because I don't mind it too much. It's just sometimes the schedule can be a little rough and haphazard. And I know Nikita asked me a question. Nikita, longtime Jersey kid who's listened to this podcast and is an amazing supporter, so shout out to him. He asked me, like, oh, at least you get to take pictures of it, or you saw it, and that's not really the case with spacecrafts. You don't see real-time images. Theoretically, I think with the software you could, but they're going to be very granulated with the star trackers that you're using. A lot of the high-res images are taken by a camera that's on the spacecraft. There's a narrow lens and wide angles. The main portion of the main reason, if you guys could look up LRO online and figure out what the main reason of the spacecraft. It was originally purposed for a 1-year mission that's been going on 9 years now. Originally, the main purpose was to map the moon, which in 1 year they sort of accomplished that, and now it's been extended because a lot of NASA missions aren't made just to do the original mission. It has an extended period where they're trying to do science based on, instruments that they also put onto the spacecraft, and I think it's the whole plan of why they included more. You can do a lot of interesting things with, the instruments that they designed for one thing, and then they sort of repurpose it for another. But yeah, you don't really see images right away from the spacecraft, especially when you're turning everything off. That's another thing. You're not going to see anything because everything's turned off. You're just kind of hoping and praying that your spacecraft is in survivable limits, temperature-wise, and, nothing is broken, which thankfully nothing has been. So that's good. But yeah, that's been my week with that, and sidetracked onto my spacecraft and space in general. It's good stuff. Should check out, read more about it. Future of the industry gets people excited. That's what I always say about the space industry. It gets kids excited because it's the unknown. I think we're as humans, we were meant to explore and go farther out and, find new things. I mean, that's what I always think is fun, is going and exploring a new place. If I'm traveling for vacation and I'm going around walking on my own and exploring and finding new areas, and even though sometimes I kind of want to just stay in my hotel room because I'm dead tired from traveling, but I just like to, you like to see new things, and I've always dreamt of, being a space explorer. I mean, that's what when seeing, like, Star Wars or Star Trek, that's, like, the dream as a nerdy kid that loves sci-fi, is you want to explore space and explore new planets. It would be fun. But there's that. Thing that we're not there yet technology-wise. Technologically, we are not there yet. And finally, the other person that had answered on this Twitter message is at StilsonXP_. Shout out to him because he has been supporting us recently and he supports Gary when he streams, so shout out to him. He's pretty awesome. He asked, if you could choose one gaming system to be on for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? And then he said, I guess we can go more broad and say company, PS4, Nintendo, Xbox, PC, etc. Here's the thing. I was going to say originally PC, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with PC. I feel like you have to eventually, at some point, the rest of my life, I have to think, what is the best to optimize the maximum library that I can use to play these games. And PC, from what I've been hearing, even if you get a beefy PC, you can't play all the old games, like KOTOR, for example, because Gary can't play that anymore on his beefed up PC, and it's kind of sad. So I'm trying to think, what do I want? Do I want a beefed up PC where I can only play a certain limited time where games work for that graphics card? Hopefully maybe graphics will slow down then. You don't need a big graphics card anymore to play certain types of games, but it doesn't seem like that anytime soon. So, hold on, let me take a drink of water because my throat is getting dry. I'm sure you loved hearing that. So, have to maximize my library. PS4, I love it, but I can't get a lot out of it because, there's no backwards compatibility. Xbox One, you got original Xbox games. You have Xbox 360. And I'm going on the assumption that I get access to all these libraries just because I don't want to have to purchase all these things. So I'm going to be a little lenient with his question. Sorry, Stilson, but this is what it is. This is what it is. I'm making my own rules, making my own path. Making my way downtown. Okay, I have to, make it more reasonable. I think, I don't want to sound biased, because right now I would, if Switch had access to the past library of Nintendo games, I would say the Switch, because you can take it on the go. Oh, this is difficult. This is really difficult. What to say? You know what I would say? A controversial opinion here, but I may go down the rabbit hole of PSP. Hear me out. Or PS Vita. Vita, maybe. Hear me out here. You can jailbreak those consoles pretty well. So if I get a jailbroken Vita or a jailbroken PSP, I can get all the old ROMs and everything because I made the swerve where I can get anything library access to this game. And if I get access to all these ROMs for PSP or Vita, then bingo bango, I have Nintendo library. Can play all the old Nintendo games. Got Sega. Got old PS1 games, PlayStation games. Be perfect. Beautiful. Brilliant decision, Adam. Talking to myself now. Don't think I'm crazy, but sometimes I act like it. But yeah, I think I don't want to bend the rules. That's me bending the rules. So now I'm going to have to go back and actually, I think right now, even though I love PS4 and I love the exclusive that PS4 is bringing, like Bloodborne, it just doesn't have enough backwards compatibility to last for the length of time. Because I have to think this until I get 90 years old, what am I going to want to play? It would be Nintendo games, but again, it doesn't have access to the old games, which is the main reason I would choose Nintendo console. So I think I'm going to go Xbox One or the Xbox One X right now. Specifically, the fact that they have the Game Pass library, where now I can go back and play old Xbox games and download them just because, and they're bringing older games to the console in general. I mean, but here's the question you get into. Now, you have these old games, but a lot of the old games in the Xbox heyday were specifically for online purposes. Halo 2, Halo 3. I'm not going to have access to them anymore. I'm not going to be able to play the online portions, which made me love the games even more. I mean, granted, the single player is amazing. I always enjoy the single player of those games and the co-op aspect of it, but the online component is not a joke here. Longevity. I gotta think of how long these companies are gonna actually support these type of systems. I mean, Switch is newer nowadays. Well, it's a newer console, so it has a longer life cycle, so I'll get more newer games. I mean, PS4 may get usurped by a PS5 in a few years. This is difficult. This is really difficult. Stilson, you put me on the spot. I gave a cop-out answer to the PSP earlier. I think I'm going to go with... Shit, what am I going to go with? I think I'm going to go with Xbox One. Because it has some third-party games that sort of tickles my fancy, where I can still play third-party games that I enjoy. I won't get the exclusive PS4 games, which is kind of sad. Shit. Nope, changing it back. I'm going PS4. That's it. PS4, because I love the exclusive games, and I want to... Because a lot of those games... exclusively, like Bloodborne, I can play over and over and over again. And then if I want an action portion, I get the best action pulp action type deal with Uncharted. Oh, I think I'm going to go with PS4. Even though it doesn't have backwards compatibility, I just love the games that are on PS4. I could go PS3 because it actually has backward compatibility with PS2. Now I'm thinking of that. Shit. But I'm going to just stick with the idea that you laid out the Switch, Xbox, current gen, so I'm gonna go with PS4. I am a Sony fanboy, as some people may call me, who knows, but I think I would stick with PS4 because I love the assortment of games that they bring, and they have a lot of third-party support. Not too many specific exclusives, especially nowadays. Exclusives aren't really too much of a thing as much anymore, unless they're first-party exclusives like Uncharted, Last of Us. Bloodborne's not really first party, I don't believe. So it's only specific types of games that are first party, and those are the games I really go out of my way to play. Horizon I played recently. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with PS4. Good question. I don't think I have any more, so only 2 people will reply to me. So there's that. I'm sorry whoever got to me afterwards. It was a little too late. I mean, you had a good 50 minutes to an hour to respond before, I would say dunzo in this tweet. So that's on you. But yeah, again, thank you. We were doing this for close to 45 minutes. Somehow, if you stuck with me, I appreciate it. But this has been episode 73 of the Two Jersey Kids podcast. Remember, go follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. My voice is going on me. I can feel it. I can feel it in my throat. It sucks. But yeah, follow at Two Jersey Kids. Please, if you're new listeners, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully, we earn your subscription. You become a Jersey Kid, which is amazing. We love you all. And please go rate us on iTunes. And please give us feedback, what we can improve on. It helps us a lot. I feel like lately I've been hitting my head against the wall trying to figure out what to do to, gain more of an audience, especially now with, I'm trying my best with trying to promote it. I'm not doing as well as I used to. I used to promote it constantly because I was more, in a lower role at work, so I didn't have to worry as much. So I could, promote more, not worry as much when I got home, or when I was at work, I would slyly do it on my phone, but now I'm sort of busy a lot more of the time, so I can't promote as much or interact as much, which is kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And sometimes work beats you down, so you don't even get energy to do it when you do have free time. So there's that. But yeah, I'm still trying my best. So is Gary. Follow Gary at RealScavenger18. You can follow me at Adam J. Buckingham. We are the Two Jersey Kids, but you only got one today. I love you. Have a great weekend. Play those games and enjoy them. Bye.